Mini skirt on, take my body in glitter. Platform sneakers, all the boys want a picture. Two foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya. Mini skirt on, take my body
Hello,
in
hello,
glitter.
hello. You're now tuned into the A Little Bit A Lot podcast, hosted by Kristen. Mwah. I'm so excited that you decided to join in and listen. This is my first time doing a podcast, and I've just always wanted to do it. I've always been interested in being able to just talk about whatever the heck I want to talk about, having like another form of a creative outlet. So here we are. I'm just going to shoot the crap, going to talk about whatever I want to talk about, and I'm hoping that you guys will like it. So yeah, let's get straight into it. I know you guys are probably wondering, what the heck does a little bit a lot mean? And don't mind me, I have like my old iPhone 6 with me right here to like look at for notes and stuff. So just diving straight into a little bit a lot. What does a little bit a lot mean? Well, for me, it was something that I used to say when I was little. Whenever my mom or dad would ask me like, how much spaghetti do you want? Like if it was time for dinner, how much spaghetti do you want? I'd be like, a little bit a lot. Just a little bit a lot. Like, I don't know. I've just always been that type of person to just make up stuff. And whenever I would say a little bit a lot, I feel like my parents always understood what I meant by that. Because if you think about it, like sometimes when you want like a serving of something, like you could just want a little bit, but a lot at the same time. So if anything, I guess it just means like a medium-sized portion, right? Like a little bit, a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really know exactly what I meant by that other than just a medium-sized portion. But I mean, whatever, in the end, my parents understood what I meant. So, you know, it is what it is. And I honestly think that like a little bit a lot is going to apply to this podcast, where it's like I'm talking about a little bit or I'm talking about a lot. I guess it just really depends on like what my thoughts are, you know, what the vibe is for the moment, what I'm feeling. So yeah, that's the origins of a little bit a lot. That's like where the podcast comes from. Me telling my parents that I just wanted a little bit, I just wanted a lot. And for the video listeners, I'm going to be uploading this podcast over on YouTube as well. So if you're wondering why I'm holding this little microphone, I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable putting it on my shirt. I feel like I move around too much and then it's going to like end up messing with the audio and like hearing muffling as I move my shirt. So for now, I'm just going to hold it until like I'm ready to invest in more equipment. So yeah. Anyways, I also wanted to kind of like touch point about like the different topics that I want to discuss on this podcast. And I think overall it's just going to be about like mental health. I am an anxiety girly. Like I do have anxiety. I remember my very first anxiety attack that I had when I was, I don't know, like in 8th grade. So, you know, I'm in therapy. I recently gave it a chance like 2 years ago, and it's just been like the best thing. So honestly, I would recommend to anybody, if you are feeling a little depressy, a little anxiety ridden, a little unwell, try therapy out. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about family trauma, body image issues that I've had growing up plus sized, my journey to self-acceptance, childhood memories, nostalgia. I'm a very nostalgic person. I just love like looking back, and I feel like, you know, it's always good for your personal growth to constantly look back at your memories and constantly like look back at like how far you've come. So, you know, that's one thing that I want to talk about, and just in general, anything else I want to talk about. Like, this is a show just for me to say whatever's on my mind, any random thing, any given time. And overall, I think that the goal for this podcast is that I want to create a safe space for the girlies, or, you know, the non-binaries, whoever you are, whatever gender, just people in general. I just want to randomly chat, with you guys too. My goal is to be able to have like an interactive audience, eventually get some Q&As, get to hear other people's stories. Maybe eventually like sharing other people's stories, down the line, and just in general, a place where we can all be ourselves, because I felt like for a long time I couldn't be myself. And it's not like my parents didn't allow me to, but like the further we get into this podcast, the more I'll explain like me not being able to feel like I could be myself like outside of my immediate household, and being judged for who I am at school with like other family members. So honestly, like, this is just a safe space for me, for my listeners eventually. And yeah, so I thought that I would just like jump straight into like a get to know me type of segment with this pod. And first and foremost, I'm 27 years old. I'm a Pisces. Like, honestly, you're gonna get to know that like I am an obnoxious Pisces. I'm super dreamy, super delusional. Like a lot of times I have like unrealistic standards for myself and others, but like at the end of the day, like it's all in good fun. You know what I mean? Like, the rational part of my brain is very understanding, but then like the Pisces side of my brain is just like, come on, I don't know. Like, you guys will get to know that as I go on, but like I'm very prideful in being, proud of being a Pisces. Like, I just honestly feel like there's lots of like great people out there who are Pisces, like Rihanna. You know what I mean? Like, the baddies get it. Like, the girls that get it, get it. The girls that don't. Like, no offense to the other signs, but I don't know. I just feel like Pisces is where it's at. And I honestly feel like when it comes to media, music, swimming like a Pisces, I feel like people are just always referencing my sign. And like, that shows that it might just be the best sign. Like, I'm sorry to everybody else, but it is what it is. Like, yes, I'm dating a Gemini. That's another fact about me. I am dating a Gemini, and I live with my boyfriend. We've been together for 10 years. So that's always like a journey. A Pisces with a Gemini, it gets a little crazy, but we make it work. Yeah, so I said I'm 27. I said I'm a Pisces. Me and my boyfriend live together. I'm from Michigan. I was born in Flint, Michigan. I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions about Flint. I ended up moving out of Flint like pretty much right as the water crisis happened. So, excuse me. I just got strep like 2 weeks ago. So if I sound like a little nasally, that's why. Who gets strep in the summertime? Like, I really don't know. Honestly, it pissed me off. I hate being sick in the summer. Like, it's just disgusting. It's disgusting. But anyways, yeah, born and raised in Flint, but moved out before the water crisis. So, any questions you may have as far as that goes, I can't answer for you. But I like being from Michigan. I like the weather. The winters are a little bit crazy, but like it is what it is. But for the most part, like, it's cool here. Do I want to move somewhere else one day? I don't know. I can imagine like being away from my family because I am really close to like my immediate family. So, but yeah, more facts about me. I started this podcast because I literally love podcasts. I work from home, and it's like just me in my little home office here. That's where I'm filming at. And I just have time all day to listen to podcasts. So it's like from the time that I wake up until the time that I clock out, I'm usually listening to music or listening to a podcast. A few of my favorite podcasts are Full Coverage with Manny Mua and Laura Lee. I listen to that podcast. I can't wait for Full Friday. Anybody out there who likes Full Coverage? I just love that podcast. Like, they're just so funny. I also like the Brittany Broski podcast, Broski Report. I know that's like a relatively new pod, but I've always been a fan of Brittany. I'm a part of the Broski Nation, so I really like that pod. Good Children with Andrew and Joe. If you know that pod, let me know. I really, really like them. They're super fun. I know they've been doing some live shows, and hopefully they come like somewhere near Michigan and I can be able to see them. I also like We Said What We Said with Ricky and Denzel. I like Pretty Basic. The Tripod. I've been a long time fan of the Try Guy, so I like the Tripod. And also along with the Tripod comes Perfect Person with Miles Bonsignor. I really like Perfect Person podcast. And also like what ended up like motivating me to create this pod was that I ended up getting on Twitter and I tweeted Miles. And I was like, hey, Perfect Person, do you have any advice for somebody who wants to create a podcast? And he actually replied and he was like, start cheap, use your phone. You can, do this to start cheaply. And he also recommended that what else did he say in the tweet? This was like a year ago. Like, this has honestly been a long time in the making. He said something about like starting, with like 6 episodes at once or something, like starting short. So honestly, that's like, if anybody wonders why you should tune into this podcast, it's because I got advice from Webby award-winning podcast producer. I don't make the rules. It just happened. Anyways, I also like Circle Time with Kelsey, and I also like Very Really Good with Curtis Connor. So there's just a mix, a little bit, a lot, if you will, when it comes to the podcasts that I like. And yeah, I love pop culture and music. I'm a child of divorce. Honestly, people who listen to the Tripod or watch Try Guys, Eugene, child of divorce, icon. So honestly, like, does that make me iconic? Yeah. I feel like it's a rite of passage, and it just automatically makes you a baddie if you're a child of divorce, because it's like, she's built to last. Like, she's been through some things. Like, she's a tough cookie. So I don't know. I feel like it's made me a better person. And yeah, another fact about me is both of my parents have had cancer. Mom had breast cancer, dad had prostate, but yes, they are alive and well, and they're still kicking. Okay, they're cancer free, and that's iconic. So shout out to mom and dad for that. I just thought that was like an interesting tidbit that I would share. Another fact about me is that I'm an oldest sister. That's also another reason why you should listen to this podcast. Oldest sisters unite. Okay? Because not only am I a child of divorce, but I'm an oldest sister. That's like a whole other thing in itself. Eldest sisters go through it. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, yes, I wish I would have been able to have like another older sister to lean onto and get advice from, but it is what it is. Like, I love my dynamic. At the end of the day, it's made me who I am. So yeah, eventually, hopefully I can get my sister on this pod so you guys can get to know her too. I love her so much. Shout out to my sister. I only have one sister. And yeah, and then the last fact about me is that making TikToks led me to making this podcast. Because I feel like for a long time, like, my creativity just wasn't creativing. I don't know. Is that even a word? Like, whatever. It wasn't doing what it needed to do. And I've always feel like I've been a creative person. Like, when I was little, I was always like making home movies, trying to create different plays. I honestly feel like in an alternate reality, like, I was supposed to be a theater kid. Because I'm so fascinated with like people who are theater people. I don't know. I just feel like they're a different breed of person. And that's cool. So, I really feel like that was supposed to be like in the cards for me. But yeah, I've just always been super creative. I've always loved writing. I've always loved reading. And once TikTok came around, I was like super into seeing all the funny clips and stuff. I didn't like download TikTok until the pandemic. But within like, I don't know, the last year, I think, or something, I can't remember when exactly I started like posting on my account, but I was just like, wow, like, editing is really cool. And honestly, like, making vlogs to like create memories from things that I do seems pretty interesting. And I also wanted to like start romanticizing my life. I feel like I was going through like a really dark time, and I wanted to be able to be like, you know what, no, like, my life is cool. I've worked hard to get to where I've, come mentally and financially, and honestly, that's really just what it is. Like, I really wanted to just get that creative, juices flowing, learning how to edit, choosing different songs to put into your TikTok was always just like so fun. It's like exciting. Like, oh, does this audio match the vibe? Does this audio match that vibe? And it also like encouraged me to like start going out and like doing more fun things so I could be able to have content to make for myself and have memories to look back on, because I feel like for the longest time, like during college, I just was like so insecure with myself and my confidence that I didn't even want to like be perceived, which we're going to dive into that more about like the hard times that I have with like being perceived, not just by the internet, but just like people in general. Like sometimes it's hard for me to even like be perceived by people in my parking lot at my apartment, like she was going through an unwell era. So, that was really difficult, but I feel like once I like stepped out of that shell, started doing the TikToks, going to the circus and making an edit from that and being like, oh my God, like, yeah, that was really fun. That was really cool. Doing things for Halloween, filming that, starting to dress up for Halloween again. Like, it just brought so much excitement back into my life. And then, I was just like, okay, why not? Like, I'm learning how to edit and having really like a really good time with it. I also like manage my dad's art Instagram. I'm sorry, not Instagram. Well, he does have an Instagram, but his TikTok. And that also helped me get like the creative juices flowing, because not only am I editing like the content that I want to make for me with like vlogs, things I'm doing, things I bought, stuff that's interesting, but I'm also like helping manage my dad's like brand, like get his, artwork out there. I'm going to put a link to my TikTok in the description, of course, if you guys want to like check out the different fun little things that I've been up to. But yeah, and then once I just started like seeing different TikToks of being like, this is your sign, content creation, like that always gets me. And I'm like, yeah, the universe is speaking to me. And I just feel like I'm an all or nothing person. So I felt like if the time is right, the time is right. Why not jump into it? So yeah, that's a little bit about the Q&A. And I also have like some other questions. I'm sorry, that's a little bit about the get to know me, but I have a Q&A coming up that I thought would be interesting, just a fun little tidbit. I just literally went to random podcast questions that you could ask on Google, and I found 2 that I thought at random and just copied and pasted them. So the first question is, if you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? I've said this before to my family, and now I'm saying it publicly. I know that McDonald's is not the best. I understand that there's documentaries out there about, oh, fast food is bad for you. I refuse. I refuse to watch that. I understand it's bad. I understand it's addicting. I understand that they have chemicals in there. But I'm a chemical at this point. That's right. Because I can't stop. Like, I love McDonald's and I have no shame about it. So yes, I could eat McDonald's. I am a McDonald. Right? And honestly, speaking of McDonald's, like I've always wanted to go to the McDonald's headquarters in Chicago. I often go to Chicago for trips and stuff with my family, for like concerts. I'm a really big concert person. If there's somebody I want to see and they're coming to Chicago, it's 4 hours away. So it's like, yes, I'm going to make that trip. And I've always wanted to go to the International McDonald's because I wanted to try their international menu. So let me know, like in the comments or in the reviews. I don't know, on Apple Podcasts. Have you been to the International McDonald's? Because I've been seeing a lot of TikToks about it. I see it's really cool. So I'm hoping to go to Chicago again, like next spring, and finally tackle my lifelong dream of going to the International McDonald's. Go to order McChicken. People sleep on the McChicken. I don't know. I just feel like not a lot of people talk about it. In the commercials, it's giving Big Mac. It's giving Quarter Pounder. We need to talk about the soldier that's out here putting in the work. That really should be the face of the brand, and that's the McChicken. I recently got into a McChicken kick. McChicken, no lettuce, right? Because the lettuce gets a little bit slimy with the mayo. I don't like it. I'm a big texture person. McChicken, no lettuce, add bacon. My boyfriend put me on to bacon. I was never really a bacon eater, but like once I started getting it on chicken sandwiches, like it was a wrap. It's a wrap for you, baby. You guys know that TikTok sound? Shout out to Mariah Carey. I love Mariah Carey. When I was like 2 years old, Mariah, like, since I'm a big pop culture girl, like, just, I used to want to be a pop star. I had dreams of, I was convinced when I was little that, like, I was born to be a star. And when I first saw Mariah Carey, the queen of pop, next level down is Ariana. We all know that. Arianka. But number one, Mariah Carey, can't be beat. Anyways, yeah, so that's my go-to. I make chicken, small fry. If I'm feeling fancy, 4-piece nugget. I know it's a chicken and a chicken. Who cares? I'm 27. I can do what I want. So yeah, McChicken, nugget, fry. They brought back the high C. Can't be beat. Can't be beat. Such a quality drink, honestly. Like, I know a lot of people are like, "Ooh, I want that Sprite. I want that Coke." But sometimes I don't always feel like being attacked, because sometimes I feel like, let's be real, a McDonald's Sprite is gonna punch you in the face. You know what I'm saying? Especially after a concert. Oh my God, me and my sister have a routine where we have a post-concert routine where after we leave a concert, you feel like it's the end of the world. Oh my God, it's apocalypse. I'm just barely crawling up to get out of my seat, to get to the car. Like, it's just, you're exhausted, you're dehydrated, you're hungry, you're delirious. And honestly, going to McDonald's, getting that Sprite, it's like, ooh, like, it hits you right in the face. You know what I mean? So it's like, a Sprite is good for when you need a Sprite, but like, I'm not drinking that on the daily. I don't need that much intensity on the daily. I need a smooth, calming, soothing high C, a juice, if you will. So, yeah. So the next question that I found was, what was your dream job as a child? Writing, being a writer, being an author. I loved reading. I loved writing growing up. Like I mentioned, that was like my number one, like, creative outlet. And I think it also, like, with me being a Pisces, you know, it just helps, like, going into that dream alternate reality. And I feel like I always use, like, escapism to, like, cope. So instead of dealing with my real feelings growing up, I would just read. And it's like, okay, like, I don't want to deal with this reality. I'm going to go and see what Willa is talking about in Cape Cod in this imaginary world. And then it's like, I could just see it. Like, let me know. Do you guys read the same way? Where it's like, I literally can see the world. And sometimes it feels like I look up and I'm like, I wasn't watching a movie. I was reading a book. It's giving very much movie. Like, the way that I can vividly see everything when I read was just better than watching TV. So it's like every week, my mom would take me to Borders. That was before they had Barnes and Noble. Getting that book, The Amazing Days of Abby Hayes, used to be my series. Shout out to The Amazing Days of Abby Hayes. If y'all know, y'all know. That was my favorite book series growing up. I wanted to be her bestie. So yeah, that was just like always such like a big thing for me. And like growing up, I was like super into trying to create like my own novels because I was convinced that I was going to be an author. So I would write in my downtime. And then when it came to like school, whenever we had to do like, you know, state testing, obviously like there's a portion where you have to like write a short story or whatever. And our school would always try to like get us to like be better at, you know, writing those stories and like planning them out and stuff. But it's like, that used to like exhaust me. Like, don't make me plan it out because I'm a creative. This is what I was thinking at the time. Like, because I'm a creative, like, because I'm such an icon, like, because I'm going to be like, what is it, New York Times bestseller in the future, I don't need this. Let me just go in. Let me just write. Let me just go off the top. And a lot of my teachers realized that. So sometimes, like, I would get excused to like not have to do like the prep and the planning, because it's like once I put that pencil on that paper, I'm just going, and the next thing you know, like it's giving 3-page short story. And a lot of my teachers would like use my stories as an example whenever they would like go around to students and being like, what's wrong with this story? And then they would use mine to be like, this is what you should do. So honestly, like that did gas me up. Thinking you bigger got your head gas. Shout out to Ice Spice. Spice Cabinet for life, for real. Like, debating on if I want to go see her, to go see Doja Cat, because it's like, I love Doja Cat, but like, given the certain controversies, it's like, ooh, I don't know. We'll have to see how the new album sounds, because at the end of the day, like, you're gonna learn that, like, yes, these celebrities, like, are super problematic, but I'm here for the music. I'm sorry. Even if you are, you know, a problematic person, I'm still gonna be here for it. Anyways, yeah, so writing those stories used to like really get my head gassed, with all of my teachers being like, oh my god, like she's so amazing. And I used to like literally like find the emails from my favorite authors and then like send them my short stories and be like, hey, I'm in 6th grade and I'm gonna be the best author in the world. Check out my story. Let me know what you think. And one of my favorite authors, I can't remember her name. I think the name of the book though was 11 or something like that. It was my favorite series at the time. And she wrote me back and she was like, oh, Kristen, I love your story. This is so cool. And that was like the validation that I needed. And that kept me going basically until high school. Sorry guys, I talk fast. Bear with me. I'm going to try to like get better at slowing down. But the more excited I am and the more into the story I am, the faster I talk. But anyways, that kept me going until high school. And I'm like, I've gotten the validation from my teachers. I've gotten the validation from my literal favorite authors who were replying back saying that they love my short stories. Even though at the time they sucked, I thought they were the best. So yeah, like I was really committed to the whole writing bit, and that really, really helped me be creative. And then like once reality hit, and I started getting anxiety, depression, I like stopped writing. So I really do want to like get back into that. Like I know I've talked about that in therapy before, where it's like getting back into finding myself. That'll be really cool. So yeah, I honestly thought that I was going to be the world's best writer. And then when I found Twilight, Stephanie Meyer, I understand we have the controversy that we've had now, but oh my God, that opened up a whole new world too, and made me inspired to start writing again, because I was and still am obsessed with Twilight. And I'm honestly glad that Twilight is like getting this new boost in popularity. Like I just went to a screening of New Moon last week at my local theater, because they're having like this flashback cinema segments for the summer that they've been doing, and I never got to see New Moon in theaters. By the time I got into the Twilight Saga, I was only able to go see Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2 in the movie theaters. So I went with my dad and my sister last week, and that was super fun, like being able to see New Moon for the first time. So yeah, obviously I need to have like a podcast episode like straight dedicated to my thoughts and opinions, unpopular opinions on Twilight, because I have a lot. I know pretty much everything there is to know about like the world of Twilight and these fictional characters. Yeah. So now we're moving on to our ending segment. I really want these episodes to be like short and sweet, like 30 minutes long. So I don't really get too tired of it. And I figured that like for now, my ending segment will be my favorite thing of the week, because I'm really hoping to like do these episodes weekly. Do I want to do like just a season of a pod and then take a break? I don't know, but we'll just see. So stick around and see. But for now, favorite thing of the week. And with the favorite thing of the week, that could be like music that I'm feeling, TV shows that I'm watching, games that I'm playing, TikToks that I like. It could just be anything. So for this week, I chose a song because I've been really, really feeling this song. I just recently bought a speaker for my shower, and that's like changed the game. You know, it just really makes you really like excited to do self-care, which like obviously I didn't have a problem with before, but it's like some days you're just like, it's a shower. But then like when you have a speaker, it's like, ooh, like it's a shower. If you get it, you get it. You don't. So I've been listening to You Wish by Floriana Boss. If you're on TikTok, then I'm pretty sure you know about this song. The girls are like always on my For You page, running around the city. I don't even know where they're from, but they're just like icons in the making. Like, I just really love their style. I really love their individuality. Like, they're just so inspiring, and I've been listening to like more of their music. I want to get like more into them, as the time passes. But for now, listening to You Wish, like in the shower, just in the car, just like really turns me up, man. Especially like the "Hello Christ, I'm not singing. I said I love you to that man, but I'm not feeling him." Like, what did that eat? Like, how did she come up with that? The creativity of some of these girls in the rap game, like, it's over for y'all, okay? The women are taking over when it comes to music, and I am eating it up. Like, what? Get like me. Nah, you wish you could never, ever, 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 ever. Like, I eat it up every time. So yeah, so I'm gonna be looking forward to sharing my favorite things every week. Just talking about whatever the freak I want, and I'm just really excited about this journey. I love podcasts so much. It just makes me feel like connected, and I feel like, especially working from home when I'm like by myself all the time, because it's just me and my boyfriend here, and he works, so he doesn't get home till like 5, and it just makes me feel like less alone, like I have some company, like with my little friends, like, Minnie, let's hang out Friday. Us hanging out with me listening to the pod. I feel like I'm there, so honestly, that's like the kind of like space that I want to create with my audience and like this podcast. Like, for now, it's kind of just going to be like, a journal to myself. But like, if I'm able to create an audience and have you guys join in, it's like, let's hang out. Let's just hang. That's all I want. I just want to hang. I just want the girlies to girly and just turn up. I'm just here to have fun. Like, turn up, have fun, hang out with the girls, shoot the crap, do whatever. So if that interests you, you like some of the podcasts that I like, then I'm like sure that you'll like my pod. So yes, thank you so much for tuning in. Do your homework. Okay, I'm new to this, but I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to say like, comment, subscribe when it comes to YouTube, and listen on Spotify. I'm going to try to get this podcast like available on all streaming platforms. So Apple, Google, Spotify. I'm not really a Spotify girly. I like YouTube music. But if that's what you're on, fine by me. And come along with me on this journey. So thanks again. Do your homework, write a review, leave a comment, let me know what you think, let me know if you're feeling the vibe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.